Good morning, Kitchissippi. It is Saturday, November the 15th. This is a video version of the 457th Kitchissippi Weekly Ward Newsletter. There is lots more information about all the topics that we'll discuss in the weekly email newsletter, to which you can subscribe at kitchissippiward.ca. This morning I'm standing at the corner of Island Park and Richmond, where they're taking the crane down at the 70 Richmond site. So that's going to have an effect on the intersection until about 2 o'clock this afternoon, but it'll be good to see that crane down, moving on to the next steps of construction and hopefully occupancy sooner rather than later. It is very busy at City Hall, but I have a relatively short newsletter. A lot of our time is being taken up right now with the budget. I'm sure most residents know the mayor tabled his budget last week. We're going to consider that through the various different committees until a vote on December the 10th. And we are also in the last stages of the new comprehensive zoning bylaw, which we'll consider at a joint meeting of the Planning and Housing Committee and Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee on December the 17th. But in the meantime, there are some other newsletter items as well. I'll be hosting pop-up office hours on Tuesday, November the 25th from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. Going to hold those at the bridgehead that is at Caroline Avenue and Wellington. So that's 1277 Wellington Street. Pop-ups are an opportunity to come by anytime during those hours and chat with me one-on-one about whatever is on your mind. Something I'm fairly excited about, as many residents will recall, recently we used our cash in lieu of Parklands Fund to acquire 2 residential properties immediately adjacent to the existing Armstrong Park. That means that the park will be able to go through all the way from Armstrong to Ladouceur now, effectively doubling its size. It's a good opportunity for a renaming, and I am proposing to rename it, unless I hear any strong objections. It's Nopaming Park. Nopaming is the Algonquin Anishinaabe word for forest. I love the description that Elder Claudette Commanda gave me of the word. It means the place that takes care of us, or a place we find everything for our survival. That's what a forest is for the Anishinaabe. The forest is land, food, shelter, medicine, safety. I can't imagine a better name. So unless I hear some strong objection, my staff will start moving that forward probably next month as we look forward to construction of the new park next construction season. Last note on the Committee of Adjustment that's going to be on November the 19th at 7 Lowry. The owner has applied to subdivide the property into 2 parcels for the construction of an 8-unit apartment building on each parcel. They're looking for just that subdivision, and staff have expressed no concerns now with that proposal. At 272 Churchill North, the owner has applied to be permitted reduced lot widths and lot areas, a reduced driveway width, front-facing garages, and increased heights for the construction of a 3-story semi-detached building. City staff, planning staff have now weighed in on that application, and they have expressed no concerns. A couple of community events to talk about. There is a Hintonburg History Evening that is coming up on November the 24th. It's going to be held in the Wellington Room of the Hintonburg Community Center, and the theme of this free event is Workers' Houses and Early Apartment Living in Hintonburg. Sounds absolutely fascinating. 2 young researchers will make presentations entitled Building for Labor, Hintonburg's Early Plank and Frame Houses, and Life Above the Shops, a social history of Hintonburg's early apartments, 1912 to 1950. That is being presented by the History and Heritage Committee of the Hintonburg Community Association. And Champlain Park wanted me to let you know that they're hosting their craft fair. That'll be, they're hosting their craft fair on November the 22nd. That'll be at the Champlain Park Field House, which is at 140 Carlton Avenue. They'll have a wide selection of gifts, including handmade soaps, creams, silver jewelry, felted paintings, art cards, pottery, knitted hats, cashmere and wool scarves, and yummy Christmas baking. Donations will be accepted at the craft show for the Parkdale Food Center. And at City Hall, it is pretty much all budget all the time for the next few weeks. The Planning and Housing Committee is going to meet on November the 19th. We're going to consider the portion of the city budget that is within our purview, as well as receive the Build Ottawa 2024 and annual report, and approve authority to staff as part of the 2025 affordable housing strategy to allocate funding to a list of pipeline projects. You can read the full agenda at the link that I've provided in the online newsletter. Emergency Preparedness and Protective Services Committee will meet shortly thereafter on November the 20th to consider the portion of the budget within their purview. Really interesting meeting coming up next Friday, a very important meeting. It's a special meeting of the Finance and Corporate Services Committee. We're going to consider whether or not to move forward with an acquisition, I'll just make sure I put this properly, of the privately held Capital Region Resource Recovery Center. That is an already permitted landfill site that is in the east end of Ottawa. The price for which we would acquire it or try to acquire it is undisclosed at this time, but we're going to have that discussion about whether or not to acquire this landfill site. You've heard me talk a lot. You've heard it, I've seen it in the media as well. The Trail Road landfill is filling up. It has a limited lifespan ahead of it. We have to figure out what to do with the city's solid waste. There is a lot of push to building an incinerator. That is something that I have been fairly vocally against. I consider that incinerators are particularly polluting. They also don't provide any incentives to try to reduce waste when we can simply toss stuff and know that it's going to be burned away. So, but it is one of the options that the city has been looking at, as well as contracting our solid waste out to private dumps or building a new landfill. Building a new landfill has been one of the least attractive options, I think, for most of council and for city staff because of the difficulty in finding a site. The Ontario government hasn't approved new dumps in a long time. Getting the opportunity to acquire a site that already has the required permissions to operate as a dump could be a really compelling opportunity for the city. So tune in on Friday, and obviously there is the opportunity as well if you wish to make a public delegation. I have lots more information about that agenda at the link that I have provided in the newsletter. And then Transit Committee is going to meet on November the 24th. It'll receive all of the usual updates with respect to para and bus and rail. And as well, they will take a look at the portion of the city budget within our purview, which is the transit budget. Top line, they're proposing a 2.5% increase in fares, a 8% increase in the property tax levy. Still leaves us a $47 million operating hole in the 2026 budget, which they are hoping will be filled when the province eventually uploads the LRT. We're also going to debate a motion at that meeting by Councillor Lowe, which I need to get to better grips with, about making sure that any buses we procure in 2026 are only diesel or diesel hybrid. I've spoken a lot about the fact that the electric buses that we need to replace our very aging fleet have been slow coming in. I'm not sure whether we had a big purchase planned in 2026, but if we do, Councillor Lowe would like to see that those are exclusively diesel or diesel hybrid, as well as being high capacity buses to replace those 60-footers. I need to get up to speed with that, and I will be by the time we vote. Kitchissippi, that is the newsletter this week. I hope you have a great week, and thank you for watching.